Who's your new guest host?
Say it again?
Said you're a new guest host.
I don't know what that means. You didn't send me anything.
Look on the camera.
The Joe
Oh,
Pags Show
very
will
nice.
Start in 4 minutes.
Who's that?
Malia.
Malia, what's happening, Malia? Let's go. I won't ask you anything today. I'll just say, hey, Malia, what do you think? Wow.
The Joe Pags Show will start in 3 minutes. The Joe Pags Show will start in 2 minutes. The Joe Pags Show will start in 1 minute.
This is the Joe Pags Show. To talk to Joe, call 888-941-PAGS. And now, it's Joe Pags.
My pleasure to have you. Thanks. It's the Joe Pags Show. There's a lot going on. Megyn Kelly on this program this hour. We'll have Megyn Kelly on. Also, we've got Jennifer Say from XXXY Apparel. She has been fighting for women and girls sports. And then we've also got Harrison Fields. He is a principal deputy press secretary from the Trump administration. Big show coming your way today. We're not messing around. We're not playing games. We're sitting here, we're taking names, we're kicking ass. Right, Sam? That's Sam, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. I have to turn you down a little bit. That's Polo, and I will be your talk show host, Joe Pags, on your Friday. Give me some strings. Come on, horns. Yes, indeed, that was me. Exactly right. What day is it anyway? Where is Bob Guthrie? Let's go, Bob.
Friday.
Uh-huh.
Thank God it is Friday.
Let's go.
Friday.
You betcha.
Thank God it is Friday.
Yes, it is. Making a Free Speech Friday. Let's go. Thank you, Bob. Say what? Listen, Monday through Thursday, I decide what we're going to talk about. On Friday, I decide what we're going to be talking about. But if you haven't been able to get through all week and you wanted to talk about some stuff, let's make it happen. 833-JOE-PAGS, 833-563-7247, or joepags.com. You get through, you talk about what you want to talk about. If I know something about it, we'll talk about it. If not, we will move on. I tend to do these lives over on TikTok at night, and you get 1,500 people in there, 2,000 people, and people beg to come up and debate. And I found out last night, I don't think they know what the word debate means. So I finally brought this guy up who's begging to come up, brought him up, and he absolutely had nothing to say, then played the victim, then acted stupidly, and I realized that he's probably one of these lunatics that Donald Trump keeps talking about. Probably what's going on. Talking about lunatics, Maxine Waters, look at the segue. Maxine Waters is a bit of a lunatic. Has been for a long time. She's in her 80s now and still thinks that she, I don't know, has some sway, I guess. For some reason, Democrats tried to go into the Department of Education today. Don't know why, but they did. They decided today would be a good day to go into the Department of Education. I'm going to bring you the story from the New York Post, but I want you to think for a second just how stupid these people are. This is an independent department that has a secretary as appointed by President Trump. He's talking about getting rid of the education department that was just put in place by Carter in the 70s, and then putting that money back into the coffers of individual states. Let them work on their own education. Probably would be a whole lot better if they did that. But Maxine Waters and a bunch of her cohorts, looking for a photo op, which is all they got because they didn't get inside, go to the Department of Education today and try to get in. From the New York Post, Josh Christensen wrote this today, about 4 hours ago. House Democrats barred from entering Education Department as rumors swirl it's next on Trump's chopping block. A handful of House Democrats were barred from entering the Department of Education's D.C. headquarters today after President Trump talked up plans to bypass Congress and unilaterally close the agency down, returning its power to the states. Representative Mark Takano, I guess it's Takano, Democrat, California, and 95 of his fellow partisans had demanded an urgent meeting Thursday with Acting Secretary Denise Carter before taking matters into their own hands on Friday. Some would call that today, only to be halted by security who locked the building doors, a congressional aide told the Post. Video footage shows an officer informing the lawmakers that their meeting request had not been accepted and there was no business purpose for their visit. Get out of the way, erupted Maxine Waters, who's annoying. We paid for your job. I don't even know what she's talking about. Representatives Nydia Velasquez, yes, and Maxwell Frost, one from New York, one from Florida, were also there to protest the move. The congressional aide noted that the department's Office of Legislative Affairs had acknowledged receipt of the letter with no further response. In fact, I think I've got this video just to show you how stupid these people are. Maxine Waters demanding this security guard who simply did his job say his name or show his badge again. He already did it the first time to prove that he was who he said he was. These people are just out there starting trouble.
Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Giving you the ID, I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
On top of it all, she's deaf. I showed you the ID. Say what? I showed you the ID. What? I showed you the ID. Hello. There should be a hearing test. If you can't hear anymore, you can't be in Congress. I don't know. Let's do it again because I want you to see this video. Those of you watching, I want you to see what a lunatic she is.
Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up. Look at him. Let him see you. This is him. Look at it. What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Giving you the ID. I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the
Could
ID.
you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it.
Look how old these people are. Hey, Sam, look it up. How old is Maxine Waters? I don't even know who that other lady is.
Gosh.
But
I
she
was
looks
just
she's got to
thinking
be up
that.
there too. I mean, is she 83, 84, 86, something like that? She's in her 80s.
86.
86
She's
years old. You say
Yes.
what? Say what? Do what? And then some other person walks up, looks older than her, asking you to see the ID. How stupid. Of course, President Trump was asked about this today.
Oh, I see the same ones. I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education. So they rank 40 countries in education. We're ranked dead last. But the good news is we're number one in one category. You know what that is? Cost per pupil. We spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. You look at Norway, Denmark, Sweden, various countries all up and down, Finland, China does very well in education. And then you look at us. We spend much more money than they do per pupil or any other way. But we spend much more money than they do, and yet we're ranked this year, Biden's last year, congratulations, Joe, we're ranked dead last.
Maxine Waters is a lowlife. Congratulations, Joe. I mean, that's pretty disgusting. We spend more money per student, per pupil, than any other country on the planet. And we're 40th out of 40. Come on, man.
So what I want to see is education. Number one, I like choice. We all like choice. But beyond choice, long beyond choice, I want to see it go back to the states where great states that do so well have no debt. They're operated brilliantly. They'll be as good as Norway or Denmark or Sweden or any of the other highly ranked countries. They'll be, probably have 35 to 38 states will be right at the top. And the rest will come along. They'll have to come along competitively. And by the way, we'll be spending a lot less money. And we'll have great education.
Now, what's the downside? I want to hear from you if you're watching or listening. What's the downside? Now, here in the state of Texas where I live, school choice is being debated right now in the state legislature, and the governor, Greg Abbott, is ready to sign it. School choice makes perfect sense. There is no downside to school choice. And by the way, if you're a public school teacher or administrator, you're going to call me that there's a downside. Make sure that you realize that those of you who are good at the job will find jobs at charter or private schools. Or you can stay in the public school and actually make it better. Because if there's competition, that makes it better. But let's start from the start. Maxine Waters, with her old ass, thought that she would show up and be all deaf, couldn't hear anything, but he's deaf, and just was going to start trouble with this guy who's just doing his job. His job was to say, you don't have an appointment here, you don't have any business here, we're not letting you in. And then some other old person walked up and said, what? Tell me your name. Huh? Let me see the badge. None of it made any sense. But they're all out there just grandstanding. I'm wondering what the downside is of getting rid of the Department of Education. Before the 1970s, when Jimmy Carter put it in place, and before we started spending tens of billions of dollars on the Department of Education, the education in the United States was better than it is now. This is not me coming after you if you're a teacher or an administrator. The fact is the education was better. It was more in-depth. Just look up the curriculum from 50 or 100 years ago in the United States. Look at what these young people were learning in school. And I want you to tell me that I'm wrong, that the education was better, because it absolutely was. It absolutely was. So I want to hear from you. Getting rid of the Department of Education, what's the downside? School choice, what's the downside? And do you like for these whacked out lunatic, or as President Trump would say, low-life Democrats, do you like them showing up at the Department of Education, starting trouble just to get on camera? Is that okay with you? 833-JOE-PAGS, 833-563-7247, joepags.com. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on. I want to know if you agree with me that there is no downside. And if there is, let's talk about it. Tell me the downside, and let's see if we can't solve it. Because it hasn't worked. Having all that money, tens of billions every year of your money and mine, at central government for education has not worked. The guy Cardona, who was the education secretary most recently, that guy would just go take pictures with the students, make them all wear masks as he didn't wear a mask. Then he would fight for boys to compete against girls in school. And then he would also fight for boys to be in girls' locker rooms and bathrooms. And then he would fight to somehow alleviate people of their loans that they signed up for to go to college. Abject failure. He failed this country. He failed you and me and our money. But what's the downside of getting rid of the Department of Education? It shouldn't have been created. There was no reason for it. It was just a power grab by central government. That's what they do. 833-JOE-PAGS, 833-563-7247, joepags.com. Let me tell you about My Patriot Supply. The headlines, listen, you've got people uprising in the street. I think it's fake, but you never know. You could have another summer of love on your hands. Could be cyber attacks happening. Could be people, suffering from like Western North Carolina and Southern California, natural disaster. Why not make sure you've got a food supply ready for yourself and your family right there in your cabinet, right in the cupboard? I've got several of these. The 4-week emergency food kit is amazing. Because you listen to or watch my show, you can get one of these kits for $50 off right now and buy as many as you need. I've got several. Go to My Patriot Supply because when a crisis hits, food is always the first casualty. Everybody needs it. Panic buying makes things even worse. You get 2,000 calories a day, 100%. For your daily value of 12 essential vitamins and minerals, why would you not want to have this on hand? I hope you never need it. Lasts for a good long time on the shelf, too. Right now, they're offering $50 off their 4-week food kit. Go to preparewithjoe.com. Get yours right now. Don't put it off. Now's the time to prepare. Preparewithjoe.com. Get your 4-week emergency food kit right now, and we're back after this.
This is the Joe Pags Show.
Clear.
2.5 minutes left on a level 5. Let's go, Twitch. Let's see if we can get a level 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go. Appreciate you. I gotta grab something from my nose. I'll be back. Reconnect, Sam. Happy birthday, Tilden. Happy birthday. Got you the 20 months. I appreciate that. Let's go. Brad, thank you. Jesh, the 2 gifted subs. Thank you, Jesh. Appreciate that. 2 more gifted subs from Jesh. Awfully nice. And then 2 more. That's 6. Let's go, Jesh. Appreciate that love. Thank you. Tilden with the 400. Let's go. Cheryl, the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Cheryl. If you got a gifted sub from anybody, make sure you say thanks. Cheryl, thank you. Dr. Rock, the gifted sub. Thank you. JJ's the prime. Let's go. Cheryl, thanks for the 1,000 bits. Let's go. Almost a level 6. Let's get through 5. Thank you, Beth. Very nice Friday hype. Appreciate it. Let's go. I'm glad to have you here. Thanks. It's the Joe Pags Show for your Friday, Free Speech Friday, 833-JOE-PAGS, 833-563-7247, joepags.com. Good long conversation with Megyn Kelly coming up at the bottom of the hour. Don't miss that. In fact, it's so long. I know, Sam, people are getting annoyed by this, but you got to go watch the rest of it later on because it doesn't fit into the, just so long.
joepags.com.
That's how we do it. Go to joepags.com, by the way, for social media, all the news stories that the crew does. Make sure you go there and check out all the interviews that we do. joepags.com, your one-stop shop for all things the Joe Pags Show. Let me go to the phone lines. The question is, why not get rid of the Department of Education? What's the downside? Why not have school choice? What's the downside? Definitely want to hear from you. 833-JOE-PAGS. Going to be John in Melbourne, Florida. John, what's going on? Hi.
Hey, brother. How you doing, man?
Living the
Pleasure
dream,
to be
man.
on your show. Listen to it every night.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's go.
I don't think there's any downside to it. It's time we take a hard look at schools, and for all their grandstanding that they're doing, and that's all they're doing. Maxine Waters, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren. And it's funny to me that with all their complaining about Musk and how all these things are unfair and terrible, nobody's denied once that any of it's true.
Right. No, they've never once. Well, what they said was USAID, if you do away with it, people will die. People will die. They say that, but they can't back it up.
Right, and it's the typical fear-mongering that
Yes.
it's all they're good for is trying to scare people into a different point of view. And with everything that's gone on, they still haven't figured out that our vote actually counts. They still want to convince us that what we want doesn't matter.
I'm with you. John, very well said. Appreciate you out of Melbourne. Love being on there. 833-JOE-PAGS. They actually said, and Sam, you might be able to find this, but they actually, somebody on the left said 6.5 million people will die of AIDS if we undo USAID. I mean, really? That's a little bit nuts. Let me go to Dan, who is in Glencoe, Minnesota. Dan, what's going on? Hi.
Hello, Joe. Great show as always.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
Thank you.
They should slice, dice, and make julienne fries out of the Department of Education and throw in the Department of Interior while they're at it. All this massive waste and fraud. And then hopefully Mr. Patel can start prosecuting some of these people if they committed a lot of crimes and enriched themselves and their friends. You know what I'm saying?
I think there would be massive investigations federally. Thank you, Dan. I think federally massive investigations into what's going on at these agencies. I want people to understand. Just think about this for a second. As you're driving down the road, enjoying the dulcet tones of the Joe Pags Show, I want you to think about this. This is one agency. There are a lot of agencies. Sam, just going to make you do stuff the whole show now. Sam, look up how many agencies are there in the United States federal government. I want to know how many agencies there are. 38 to 40 billion from one agency. I mean, that's crazy. And then you've got people that are just, they don't know when you want to answer to it. Oh, the quote was, Reuters said 6 million people could die from HIV and AIDS if U.S. funding stops, UN agency warns. This is why we have to get away from the UN. We have to get away from the UN because this is just absolute BS. Horrible. Horrible to even say that. Sam, is there an agency number we can glean?
So a quick search, and according to Adelphi University, the federal bureaucracy consists of the 15 cabinet departments plus more than 2,000 agencies, which together employs more than 2.7 million people. And this was in August 2024.
2,000 agencies. USAID is one. Holy man, it's going to be a long term, man. This 4 years is going to be long and interesting. Stacy, Massachusetts, talk to me. Hi.
Hey, how are you, Joe? Love listening to your show.
Thank you.
Thanks
Living a
for
dream.
taking my
What's
call.
happening?
I love the idea of getting rid of it. I love school choice. My kids went to private school. I had to work 2 jobs. My husband worked a full-time job just to get our kids through a private school, to get them out of the public school. And but I had a funny thing when you were playing that clip for Maxine Waters. She said he works for her.
No, she did say that, and he right, and he doesn't. You know, it's funny
we can't go in. Yeah.
Well, when we say that to. Try to say that to Ayanna Pressley. She'll call you a racist. Try to say that to Elizabeth Warren. She'll call you. This is how dumb. This is how backward they are. They think they're going to use our arguments that we use against them against us, and she looked like an idiot. Stacey. That's a great point.
Yeah, and I called them when we had the government shutdown. My husband works for the government, and they said to me I could never get in touch with any of them, way back when they shut down for that long period of time, and we weren't getting paid, and they all were, and Elizabeth Warren would not take my call.
But she works for you. What do you mean? She has to take your call.
That's what I told her staffers who answered the phone, and they never got back to me.
Amazing point, Stacey. We love you out of Massachusetts. Open line now, 563-7247, 833-563-7247, 833-JOE-PAGS, or go to the website like Sam said, joepags.com. You go there, scroll down, click on contact. You can get me an email. You can get me something like that. Just to let you know, a little high sign for you. Some of you get confused. You think we're going to debate over email. That's not happening. That's just so you can tell me what you think, what your thoughts are. Maybe I'll read it on the air. I might give you a very short answer back. We're not doing this whole back and forth on email. I never get away from my computer. So go and check that out. Also check out TikTok, Instagram, and X. Those are the top 3 social media sites that are up there right now on my website. When you go there, you'll see my just a small part of my interview with Grady Judd from yesterday where he says he'll lock them up. That's available over on social media. We come back, the one, the only, the amazing Megyn Kelly. We're going to break some stuff down. I tell her, listen, you just look like you're happy right now. And then we get into all the Trump stuff, too. Keep it here.
This is the Joe Pags Show.
Claire.
Hey guys on the phone lines, thanks so much for listening and calling in. We are going to be doing a great interview here, so I'm going to have to let you run, but keep listening and definitely call back soon.
Good to see you on Twitch. Nice level 5 hype. New subs, gift subs, and bits on YouTube. I'll give you about an hour of the show, and then we'll shut it off because there's not a whole lot of support from YouTube. We can't monetize it because of the music, so you can do memberships, gift memberships, and super chats there. Rumble rants and subs and gift subs over on Rumble. Appreciate you. My second camera's not working. There it is. Interesting. YouTube's not even pushing it today. Hey, Dean, thanks for the membership. I appreciate that. Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. It's an absolute honor every single time I get a chance to talk to this young lady. And Megyn, I just reminded you, it's Megyn Kelly, of course, of the Megyn Kelly Show, Megyn Kelly Podcast, Megyn Kelly YouTube channel that's tearing up the earth. It's doing so well. Can you believe it's been 20 years since we first spoke?
That's not possible. When we were in our cradles and we saw each other across the playpens.
That's what it was. It was Hurricane Katrina, and I think that you were anchoring something during the afternoon on Fox. And because all of the refugees came to San Antonio, where I was, somebody, I think you called directly, and you're like, just get me somebody who knows. And I was the morning guy at the time at WOAI in San Antonio. We had a great conversation. You put me on Fox, and that was actually my first time on Fox, and then I did a bunch more after that. But God bless you. I got to tell you, this is what I see when I watch your show, and I watch it almost every day. I don't take in any other talk, any other news. I don't want anybody to adjust my thoughts and my opinions on topics, but I always make sure I watch you. There seems to be a level of joy in you. Am I misreading that? You just look happy.
Yes. I mean, especially these days, but always. I mean, I do think my general approach to the news is to find as many opportunities to laugh about it as possible, which makes it all seem more tolerable.
Yes.
And there's plenty. I mean, just human nature is just so, it is laughable. And especially with politicians, like if you can't find the opportunities for a chuckle, you're not doing it right. But I mean, these days I'm genuinely jubilant because we have a new president who seems to be determined to fulfill all of our wishes. Like every night you wake up, it's like another Christmas morning and then another and then another.
Yes.
And he's just on such a tear right now. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. And I mean that in every positive way possible.
Megyn, did you expect that it would be this breakneck, the speed? I knew it would be fast, but he's like, I got shot in the ear. I'm going to do everything in the first 2 weeks. It's like it's a different Donald Trump, in my opinion.
I had no idea it would go this fast. And I know that right before he got sworn in, I think Brett Baer was reporting, I spoke with the president and he said it's going to be sort of shock and awe executive orders. And so I thought, okay, we're going to get a lot. But I mean, I don't think anybody anticipated this much. It's like all of the stuff that everybody always said they would do, he's doing. And I don't even just mean Republican presidents. It's like everybody who promised that they would change things, like Barack Obama, hope and change. Like he did nothing. He did some big fundamental sweeping things like Obamacare, which we hated.
Yes.
But all the big blob that actually runs the administrative state didn't change at all, probably just grew under Obama. So nothing changed for people who really just wanted the government to approach things differently, knowing that it wasn't working for them. And even Trump 1.0, it didn't change much. He didn't understand how to do it yet. He hadn't been thwarted by that blob yet. And so now we have the best Trump of all, who's been thwarted by the blob, kicked out by the blob, and now he's come back, pissed off in the appropriate levels and ready to crush the blob. And now they're out in the streets protesting because he means business. And their fat cat federal bureaucrat jobs are going away, which is clearing off the barnacles from this beautiful boat we call the United States of America. And for the first time, it's feeling like, wait, what if we really could streamline this thing? What if we could skinny it down and save money and reallocate these huge expenses that go to help, I don't know, trans dances in Ireland or like non-binary operas in Thailand and start helping people domestically who are hurting? It's just so much possibility separate and apart from all the woke stuff that we've been fighting against for the past 10 years.
MegynKelly.com. Of course, it's Megyn Kelly. We just absolutely love having you on. You're right. Trump 1.0, I think, walked in and he thought he would be the CEO. And he would sit down and say, do this. And the 5,000 people in the administrative state all said, screw you. We're not doing any of it. He said, no, really, I mean it. Do it. Okay, we'll impeach you. No, I'm serious. Do it. We'll impeach you again. So this guy comes in and says, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do all the executive actions. I'm taking Gaza. Megyn, I'm live on the air and he's there with Netanyahu and he says, I'm taking Gaza. And I went, I'm sorry. What did he just say? You know what I mean? Our entire lives, you and I have been going, there will never be peace in the Middle East. And Trump says, I'm taking it. Come on.
I loved when he said, they say they won't take them, meaning the Palestinians and Jordan and Egypt.
Yes.
They say they won't take them. I say they will.
That's it. And they will. And they're going to.
I love his boldness. I don't know that they'll take him or they won't take him, but I love his boldness. I love for once we have somebody who goes in there and doesn't just say, intractable problem. Okay.
Right.
Trump's like, what about this? Why don't we try this? And maybe he's just shaking up the jar so that, you know, the Middle Easterners will actually do something about their own backyard and try something creative. I don't know. I don't purport to understand Trump's thinking on these things, but it's a delight to have somebody who does think outside the box, who is ultimately a deal maker. He came at it from a real estate guy's perspective. He's like, I know how to do this. I bulldoze things and then I rebuild something greater. And we're going to turn it into Ghazi era. And I realize the likelihood of this is small.
Yeah.
But so what? What are the other people proposing? I don't want to hear the words two-state solution anymore. We all know that's BS. That's pie in the sky. It's not going to happen. So what else do you have? While you're sitting there laughing and making fun of Trump, you know, all these people, all these smart people who write in the magazines, what do you propose, right? It's like, it's great to have somebody throw fresh ideas into the mix, especially one as thorny as this one.
Well, the alternative is what we've seen throughout history. Give it back to Israel. They occupy for a certain amount of years. Everybody blows up rockets every day. Somebody's dying on a bus or in a pizza place. And then we all say two-state solution again that the Palestinians will never accept. So at the end of the day, the Ghazi era or whatever you just said, I think I think you're right in that it's a power play. He's not really going to do it, in my opinion. I think now Saudi Arabia, if they can make peace with Saudi Arabia, where Mecca is, the homeland of Muslims, if there is some sort of a semblance of peace between them and Israel, I think Saudi Arabia would take a big part in redeveloping Gaza and maybe figuring out what to do with it. So I think you're onto something that he says this in the hopes of either that happening, which is small, or this other thing happening where the region says, no, we'll do it.
Right. We don't want America here. Although, you know, we run the risk of them actually wanting us there because it will cause all sorts of consternation and strife for us.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying on the show yesterday or the day that broke, Jesus, feels a little like when your best friend gets pancreatic cancer and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. And then you're like, and I'll take your pancreas. And like, oh, wait, we went too far. I didn't want that.
No.
You know, we don't really want these Palestinians being our problem directly. And I will say, like Andy McCarthy over at National Review, who's very smart, and he's been trying Islamic terrorism cases as the U.S. attorney in the U.S. Attorney's Office for many years. And he made a very good point, which is he doesn't think Trump totally understands Islamic fundamentalism and how, you know, hateful this particular group is and how really all they want to do is kill Jews. That's kind of their core mission in life.
Yes.
And they're fine losing their children, killing off their own children in the name of that. It's like a very weird obsession, and how literally nobody in the Middle East wants the Palestinians because they know that they're cancerous, and Jordan doesn't want them. Egypt doesn't. So it's like, it's not going to be as easy to make them take them as Trump thinks. Cause it's not just like, oh, a normal, you know, fellow Muslim. It's like truly a death cult. And this can be a very, very tall order because the Middle Easterners know exactly what I just said, and they want no part of these folks. So we'll see.
Well, something's going to happen. And as you know, there really is no Palestinian. They're not really the biblical Philistines. There really never was a Palestinian. It was a territory by the British Empire, the Ottoman Empire before that. And now what we know historically and ancestrally, they're Egyptian or they're Jordanian. In fact, the Jordanian queen is a Palestinian. So why Jordan and Egypt doesn't want them should be an absolute spotlight for the rest of the world. These people bring with them blood, mayhem, and murder. That's what they do. And by the way, they're Sunni Muslim, and Iran, that backs them up, is Shia Muslim. If they were to kill Israel and get it off the map, which God forbid, it's never going to happen, by the way, then Iran would kill them because they hate each other. Sunni and Shia hate each other. And I think that's the bigger picture nobody knows.
That's the only time you see the Middle Easterners act up. I mean, the Palestinians are just getting used by the rest of the Middle East. They're just used as a useful foil against Israel. They don't like Israel. None of them likes Israel. And so these are like sort of the low on the totem pole Muslims who they can use to work out their gripes against Israel, but they don't really care about the Palestinians. They're not actually marching in the street about Palestinians at any other time. They just used this over the past year to try to bring their rallying cry into, greater focus. But they're not looking to help them. And Jordan's already got, I don't know, something like 2/3 of Palestinians. Jordan's already got a lot of Palestinians there, and they don't want any more. They've made clear they're not going to be accepting anymore. Now, if Trump were to put some money into it, if Trump were to actually make it worth their while in some other way, maybe we could get to talking. Maybe Egypt would talk. I don't know. They have that big, beautiful wall for a reason. They did not want these people.
Right.
Trump's now trying to make it sound like it'd be a great deal for the Palestinians, like he'll somehow arrange amazing housing, he said in a post the other day for them in their new countries. I don't see any of that happening. I just like the fact that we've changed the conversation from the same tired proposals that will never work. We couldn't get a two-state solution on 10-6, and there's zero chance of one coming post 10-7. This is an utter waste of time.
Well, in the late 90s, they were offered 97%, and they said no. So they don't want a two-state solution. It could have happened. Israel says yes. The Palestinians will never say yes. It's Megyn Kelly, host of the Megyn Kelly Show, MegynKelly.com. Follow her everywhere. I've got to ask you, you were a journalist for a long time. You and I both still journalists, but we're also opinion makers. I never got $8 million from USAID. How does that work where somebody gets $8 million and they act like they're still journalists and that bought subscriptions on the taxpayer? Megyn, make me understand how that's okay and how that's not just complicity and they never really were journalists.
Well, I wonder whether those same bureaucrats who were buying these expensive, these super fancy subscriptions to Politico Pro, which is the next level of Politico, were they also subscribing to Fox Nation? I wonder if they were they paying the fee for dailywire.com? I have a feeling that it wasn't exactly a fair and balanced subscription protocol at these government bureaucracies, that the only one they thought it really was worth it to pay for happened to be this left-wing rag that says only positive things about the Democrats and Kamala Harris and only terrible things about Donald Trump and the Republicans. Why am I paying for that? I don't want to pay for the bureaucracies to have that subscription or for these federal employees to be sitting there reading that crap on my dime. Get to work. And by the way, if you want Political Pro, go ahead and buy it on your own time, but not with my money.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, but you've been the tip of the spear in outing all of these people. This has to be vindicating for you. Not that you needed to be vindicated, but I mean, this proves that what you've been saying for 2 decades, what I've been saying for a long time, is that they're complicit. They're in the pocket of. They're only giving positive to this. They're giving negative to that side. This proves all of that. I mean, do you do a little bit of a victory dance or do you just keep on, hitting them upside the head with, here's the truth. That is not the truth.
I'm really not shocked anymore when I find out I was right about things like, I'm sure your audience
being right
can relate.
So much,
Yeah, I'm sure your audience can relate. We all knew that COVID wasn't from a pangolin. We knew it was from a lab.
I never heard of a pangolin before that. Have you ever heard of a pangolin before that whole thing?
No, no one's ever heard of a pangolin. I still don't totally understand what it is, but I know COVID did not start in it because they never found it. They tested 80,000 animals and they never found COVID. Like, when they come true, I don't know. Are we still having the feeling of I knew it, or is it more like, okay, like another one won, another rhetorical battle in the victory column? Like, we have to just keep going until we get the real victories that matter, like Trump in office, like a 6-3 Supreme Court, like J.D. Vance, hopefully. Now they're already calling him 48. I love that. Let's get 48 lined up for success. Like Trump possibly somehow holding on to the House post the midterm elections.
Boy, I hope so.
Like something getting positively done even after the first 100 days. Those things actually do matter, and we need to win those battles.
Is the media landscape where it needs to be? I mean, it's on the right track, I think. When you bring podcasters in, and people like Sage Steele was in there yesterday, which is awesome.
It's
I mean,
great.
you're starting to tell those who are sitting in the front row, you don't really matter, and nobody really believes you anymore. And we're going to get people who ask questions that the American people will actually want answers to, and they're not going to be snide questions like Caitlin Collins keeps doing. It's a good thing. We're on the right path, aren't we?
You know, I love that and I totally support it. But the truth is, those corporate media entities have already learned that lesson. I mean, they learned it in 2024 in November 5th, if on no other day. Like they have seen their own relevance wane dramatically. They have seen their audiences evaporate. Look at how quickly CNN Plus evaporated, right? It
Yes.
closed within the first month.
Right.
Like CNN just laid off another couple hundred people. All of the networks are cutting back anchor salaries. The audiences have fled. As much as they tried to protect their monopoly, they couldn't. This other lane was born. And I think many times about back in like the 2008 era where Roger was very worried. We partnered with Google on a debate, and he was very worried about partnering with a social media company because he recognized that that was a rising threat and it could actually hurt Fox. And at the time, I remember thinking, like, how? How could it? I don't understand.
Yeah.
But he was right. I mean, all these social media apps have made it possible, this digital lane, for an entire behemoth competitive lane to be born. And, you know, I think everybody in cable news knows now their days are numbered. They've been relegated to the dinosaur. You know, they are the way of like whale oil when it comes to the lantern.
Right.
And all of us are the sexy, exciting new light bulb. You know, like go ahead
I
and
certainly
create your
am.
fancy lanterns all you want. The world has moved on.
But rightfully so. So you're not like me. You're not buying Bezos and Zuckerberg and Google showing up at the inauguration. They just went there to kiss the ring, hoping that they'll still be relevant.
Oh yeah, and I love it. I love seeing them kiss the ring. You know, I love Joe and Mika going to Mar-a-Lago and kissing the
Isn't
ring.
that something?
Do it. Do it.
They visited
Bend the
Hitler.
knee.
They visited Hitler.
Yeah,
Can you believe it?
Right. Hitler's kind of hot. Hitler's not all wrong. Hitler, is he all wrong? Is he all bad? Let's talk about it.
It's
Anyway,
the amazing Megyn
I'm enjoying
Kelly.
that.
Yeah, well, I am too. I think that people have to understand that, again, you're not only the tip of the spear, but you're also one of these shows that, you're not a show, but you're the person who runs this show where you know you're going to get the real scoop. Whether you're yelling F at the screen or BS, and I love that you feel free to do all that, you're untethered by the corporate nonsense. People know they can rely on you. This is why you said something the other day. I saw your announcement at the 1,000th episode, and you said something that I didn't realize, that for what, the first year you didn't show your face? What was that? How
Yeah,
are you not
yeah.
on camera for the first year? Whose idea was that? Was it you? Did you say I shouldn't be
Yeah,
on
that
camera?
was my idea.
Why?
You know what, Joe? It's like, I'm really glad I did it because I don't know. You never know. Coming off Fox, especially, you just kind of never know. Are people interested in watching you because you followed O'Reilly, or are they actually interested in hearing what you have to say?
That's a good point.
And I just thought it would be like a really cool experiment for me to see, will they listen? Like for, you know, especially as like the blonderage over at Fox, it's an interesting question to say, okay, they'll watch, but will they listen too? Like, will they actually listen to me?
They sure
And
did.
they did. Yeah, the show took off. So I found it really gratifying. I always knew I'd add video eventually. That's obviously my main medium. But I'm very glad I took the first year to just do audio and get to know the audience in a much more intimate setting. You know, just through the ears is, I think, a lot more intimate than the whole caboodle, visual and audio. And that was actually a really special year for us. So we were, 1,000 episodes on podcast, but we're not there yet on video.
I was surprised. Amazing to talk to Megyn Kelly. Yep, there's a lot more of that conversation. You go check it out on the website later, joepags.com. She mentions balls a lot, and by that, it could be basketballs, could be bowling balls. You never know. But she says that word a lot, so much so that I'll probably make a short video out of it later. But we're back after this in the Joe Pags Show. Stay here.
You're listening to Joe Pags.
Clear.
One in the chat. Yeah, Megyn talks a lot about people with balls in the last 5 minutes of that interview. So make sure you go check it out tonight. Well, you know how much time I have coming back? I have time for a spot here. Try to get out of that early.
You should be okay. 'Cause when we come back, it'll be like 56-20-ish.
Be tight, but I might be able to get it in there.
About a minute 10, minute 15 at least.
Much more with Megyn Kelly later on tonight up on joepags.com. Got to remind you about our great sponsor, Lean. TakeLean.com is the website. If you're a yo-yo dieter, you diet, you lose weight, you gain it all back, and then a few extra pounds. Then you do it again, gain it all back and a few extra pounds. Enough is enough. It's dangerous for your body, dangerous for your health. Could lead to all sorts of issues, type 2 diabetes, heart attack, stroke. Break free of your yo-yo dieting pattern. It's a main reason doctors created Lean. It's a supplement, not an injection. You don't need a prescription for it either. And the science behind Lean is very impressive. Studied natural ingredients target weight loss in 3 powerful ways. Lean helps maintain healthy blood sugar, helps to control appetite and cravings, and it helps burn fat by converting fat into energy. Listen to me. I'm going to save you some money. If you're tired of losing weight and gaining it all back, I want you to try Lean. Lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace. You can save 20% by going to takelean.com and put in promo code PAGS20. TakeLean.com, promo code PAGS20. That's TakeLean.com. Promo code is PAGS20. Make sure you go and do that right now. Another big hour coming your way. Don't touch that dial. Keep it on the Joe Pags Show.
Joe Pags.
Clear.
I mean, that's how we do, right?
I mean, it is.
We got done. All right, people, top of hour number 2 is on the way. I appreciate you hanging out. Over on YouTube, I did see a membership from somebody. I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Again, we can't monetize on YouTube, so we'll let you go for now. Make sure you go check out the Twitch stream, joepags.com. Click on Watch Now. Rumble, we appreciate you as well. Still trying to figure out how to monetize that for you. Appreciate the audience there, too. Keep it here.